Hello, I'm Ben from Channel, and today I want to talk about the song When We're Gone. It's an interesting song for me because I wrote the riff for this idea probably when I was at high school. I reckon I must have been like 14 or something like that, and the main riff never became a song, and I don't know why. I don't know why. And it wasn't until I was at last year really that I figured out what I wanted to do with the song and how I could make it work. So I want to show you just a little bit about this song, and let's find what this main riff is, and then I'll talk about the session because it's really cool for me to be able to talk like this and show you this. So here's the main riff. I'm just going to play the stereo guitars that happen at the beginning. This is the first riff that I came up with, and it is played on guitar. It's in drop D. That was it. And what I used to do is I used to play that, and then I used to jump to this other riff, which used to come straight afterwards, but I changed that, and I think it's here. Let's have a listen. So those two riffs used to go back to back, like the beginning one, and then I would jump to this other one. And I don't know what happened to this song, and it never became anything. It sort of sat around. I mean, it grooved. I liked the groove of it. I liked the sound of it, but nothing happened. And the funniest thing was that last year when I was writing the rest of this album and I was trying to figure out some more songs, I played that riff and I thought, let's see what we could do with this. And I actually started writing it the same way that I wrote it back then. So I would have that main riff at the beginning, which actually starts on bass. And that's how it is in the song. It comes in on the bass, guitar comes in. And then I would jump to this other riff, which I just played there. And it didn't gel for me. I don't know why, but nothing really worked. And what I did is I figured out later on that I could use that as this bridge section, going into this bridge section. Because When We're Gone is a long song. It's like 6 minutes something. I typically don't write long songs. But I love following the rabbit down the rabbit hole, if you will. I like seeing where something goes. But let's just jump back a bit. So I have this riff, and I like to introduce things, and I want to show you some of the tricks that I use and some of the things that I've learned along the way of playing guitar and writing music. So we've got this riff. I love how the bass comes in. The drums I'm using are Steven Slate. They are so nice. This is one of the only songs that I really have done this, where I've split the tracks and I've bounced the kick and the snare and the toms and I've mixed it all. So I still have the drums at the top there, and I still think that they're playing through. I can't remember. Where is this? Yeah, so they're bussing out as per normal, so almost like doubling up on some of these sounds. So let's just have a listen to this beginning, and I love how the bass comes in. The sound effects, the rain and things. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really know when I was writing the song about it. When I was writing before I was writing the lyrics, I didn't know really what it was going to be about. And I love writing like that. Okay, let's listen. And I love that tension of the bass coming along with the thunder and lightning, and the guitar's kind of feeding back. It's going to explode into something, and it does. And one of the things I really like about writing my own music and being in control of the process when I'm here in Pro Tools is just little things like if I solo out the drums, you can hear like this, the way that the crash, it follows, I think it's back here. Wrong place, it's over here. This one here, ready? And then to counter that, we have this one. Just little things like that. I love to think like that. It's the whole process. It's the whole process. Anyway, so then the lyrics come in, and I'm singing about, like at the end of the day when I wrote the song, I did think about what the world is going to be like when I'm gone, or when I'm gone. I don't know when I'm going to be gone. I'm grateful that I have every day that I have, that I'm alive. But one day I'm not going to be here, and I don't know what the world's going to be like. And it freaks me out, and it rightly so. There's a lot of change going on, and I wanted to sing something which people have done before. It's not original by any means, but my way of doing it. Sing about, like I wrote the song back in 1999 called Utopia, and it was about standing in front of a crowd and reading out some message or something like that. And I felt like this song has that vibe to it. So the lyrics, let's have a, I think I'm on solo. Let's have a quick listen. Let's get back here. Loud and clear, don't look away or go hide. Just face it, the truth hurts, and you cannot deny this. We know the end is nigh. And why do we turn a blind eye? Let the earth die. Where did we go from? Our children. Let's talk about this chorus. I love choruses because that's the main part of the song, but this chorus is really exciting for me. And the main reason was that I really didn't know what the melody was going to be. I had I've learned a lot about songwriting in the last, however long I've been alive. One thing I like is simple melodies now. Sometimes we do need to complicate melodies, but I like to keep things simple. And in the verse, that's the case. It's pretty much a da 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 da. Da, 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 da. It's easy. It's memorable. And the chorus, I had no idea what I was going to do. And when I got to the chorus of the song, because I'd taken that other riff and put it in the bridge, I figured, what am I going to do here? And what I found was that I came up with this melody. I'm gonna jump to it and find. I think actually maybe it was this is what I call a jangle gap, right? It's a guitar that I'm playing that's hidden in the background, and if you listen to the song again, you'll hear it now. You might not have heard it before, but it's carrying the chord progression really for me. So all of the notes that I'm playing in this song until the very last chorus are single notes. They're all just I'm just vamping single notes. Two guitars, one on either side, but underneath that, I've got this thing happening. So I wrote that, and then I figured out the chords that would go with that, right? So we're in drop D, so I'm playing A, then I go down to F, go down to D, and then I do this flat 2 by going up to B flat. And so together, when I add these in, if we put these in here, we'll put the bass in as well, you can sort of really hear that working. Let me just go back a bit. Here we go. But do you notice that you can't really hear the jangle gap? That's what I call it. Jangle gap. It's not really, you can't really hear, but it is there. And if I take it out, you can tell immediately. There's another song I use it in. Just Say It. Same thing. If I don't have it there, it just doesn't hold any weight. So from that, before I'd even written the chorus, still hadn't written the chorus yet, I came and found this melody. I wanted something powerful. I wanted something emotive. I wanted something to really push, just make me feel something. And this is what it was. Let's just come in here. Let's just have a look at that Helix setup, because that's actually pretty sweet. Helix is fun. I love it. And one of the things I did was I made my own, plugin, or preset rather, and I put this pitch shifter at the beginning. So just go up an octave and set it at 50%. So it's kind of like it's like octave. It's a mix between the root note and the octave, but it sounds cool. And that melody was really powerful. So when it came to the chorus of the song, I figured, why not just sing that melody? And that's what I do. So if we have a listen to this part. So that's that. I mean, that's how that became. And what I love to do is, and I talk about this all the time in songwriting, is develop. So you can see I've actually muted out the melody get here. That melody get that's backing up my vocal doesn't exist in the first chorus. Comes in the second chorus, and then in the third chorus I add strings to it as well. So I've got a whole bunch of things happening. There's the strings there. So I've got a whole bunch of things happening to allow for that to feel more powerful by the time he gets to that last chorus. I want that last chorus to be big, and the last chorus it's the first time in the whole song that I'm playing power chords. We're in drop D, right? So I'm just power chording the same thing: A, F, D, and B flat. Let's just go back a little bit. Verse 2 starts the same way, and again, development. I like to add something new to it to get the listener to hear something different. And I found, just by adding some harmonics, something very simple, very subtle, but it ended up that the harmonics allowed me to find the melody for the second verse. The second verse started to become a little bit too similar to me, and it wasn't until I hit this one note. So let's just have a quick listen to this. I think I hit D, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway. Yeah, so that dun, 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 and if I put in the rest of the track, I want you to listen out for the fact that I bring the guitars back in, palm muting the same riff that we play in the verse, because again, development, man. I wanna subtly bring things back in. So let's just have a listen to this section. Watch this. And the cool thing about writing that verse was I didn't really know what the lyrics were going to be. I had to make it different, and I used this thing called Rhyme Zone. It's very helpful. It's where I put in a word that I'm singing at the very end, and then it gives me a suggestion, a whole list of suggestions of words that I could use, and I do that. It helps me kind of think of new words that I wouldn't say, like callous. I hadn't used that word before. I love the word, I know it's terrible, slaughter. I've used that in a few songs. It still exists in another song that's going to be released later on, but I don't know. But the cool thing about that was that when I hit that D on the in the harmonic, my vocal wanted to go there, and I sung that. And by adding in that riff again with the guitar, there's this like context that exists. It's the same two little phrases on the with the harmonics, but it just sounds cool once it goes back into the chorus and we hit that A. That E is the fifth. It's I don't know, it's refreshing. It just gets my ear. And then obviously we bring in this melody guitar, etc., etc., etc. And then we go into this bridge, which is now, it was different first. I never had this riff here. It was the riff at the end of the song that used to be here, and I changed it. And the reason I changed it was that it just felt like it was too much of a finale by having this other riff at the end, to me anyway. So I swapped it around. I changed it. What I did here, and what I like about this section coming up, is that I introduced that melody guitar in a different context. So I'm playing it now with like I'm using this thing I do quite frequently. I just go up the scale, whatever scale I'm in, and then the very last note, it sort of comes down to a flat 2, and then we hit A, and then the song rings out on D and sits there for a little while before we go into the second half of the song, which is very exciting. So let's have a quick listen to this, and you'll see, if you listen to this melody guitar, you'll hear it. Something about that melodic scale, double harmonic minor scale. I don't know. It's just, don't know. It's got some power, magic to it. Lots of band. I'm massively inspired by Korn from that sort of stuff, because Korn used, Jonathan Davis would sing those sorts of harmonies and melodies all the time. So, but anyway, we're in the second part of the song now, and this was exciting because I'd finished this. I had no idea where it was going to go. And I wanted it to be ominous. My terrible grammar. I wanted it to sound big, scary, and like it was gonna go somewhere. I didn't want to just do a copy and paste and repeat. So we have this bass line that comes in that holds the song together, and there's actually 2 parts to the bass line. Again, if you pay attention to it and listen, you might pick up on these things the next time you hear it. But we have this first one, which is kind of like it's a and I like the rhythm where the first beat falls in different places. So the drums are just keeping straight 4/4, but the that pattern's gonna start different places. Things I learned from listening to like lots of progressive rock, Meshuggah, Tool, lots of different things. It's just cool to have that sensation of like it's moving and then it comes back again. So check this bass line out. Let's have a listen here. Cool. So then I change it. I don't want it just to keep going. I want it to be different. Some people don't notice this, but it is there. If I just solo out this bass quickly, just have a listen to how it changes. It's the same kind of concept, but again, development. I want to make it different so that the listener can potentially pick up on something. Have a listen to this. Listen. So it's got that and it goes back into that main riff that we hear at the beginning. So it's just adding something different. Now the guitars later on come in and back that up before we go back into the main chorus riff. And that's where the solo comes in. And to be honest, I love guitar solos, but I love guitar solos that have purpose and meaning. There's some songs that I just have, shredding on, and that's cool, and we can change it every night that we play it, but a lot of the time I try to write melody and guitar solos that stick for a reason. There's a reason why they are. And for me, this guitar solo in this song is one of my favorites because it's so simple. It's got lots of space, but it's the way that the notes play off each other. Especially going to the major third. Major third, like when you've got a minor seventh and you jump to the major third, it's got this diminished fifth sound to it, and it just sounds so gnarly. I can't explain it any other way. So check this out. I'm actually playing this. I've got two guitars doing the same thing, exactly the same, but one's just slightly turned down. It's just a little production trick. But check this out. And then notice how the guitars come in, back it up. It just makes that bass line stronger and more powerful. And then the strings come in to back up that main melody that's already been there in the chorus already. The only difference is in that chorus, that very last chorus, or the very last solo part of it, I jump to this other note. So you'll have a listen, yeah. Guitars. And then build it up, build it up. Ready? It's going to jump up in a moment. Just something cool like that, just that little extra note there that's the same. I mean, I could have written crazy melodic solo that was shredding and all over the place, but it doesn't, for me, it didn't really need that. It felt like, I don't know, it just felt right. One of my favorite parts about songwriting is that it's a puzzle. I don't know what the song is going to be like at the end. I love the process of putting it together and finding out myself where it goes. And then the ending is pretty straightforward. I have this da 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 riff, which is just A, F, and D. And my melody guitar, or the lead guitar, is just sitting on a couple of notes and slowly making its way up to some sort of crescendo at the very end, as you'll hear here. And I'm singing When We're Gone for the first time multiple times. And that's it, man. 14 years, when I was 14, that riff. And to have completed it last year, I think it was in August, I was still going by the name Ben Ruig at the time, and I was ready to hit release on DistroKid, but I realized I should stop. I needed to find something different. And I'm so thankful that I've been able to bring this project to life with, some of my best friends. Brandon Pritchard, who is an ex-student of mine, is just an incredible drummer. Puts his heart and soul into every time he plays. That's so awesome, and it's so cool to be part of the energy with him. Michelle Anderton, who we've played together in bands since I was, like form, what do we call it? Form 4. Is that what we used to call it? Year 10. 1998 we met. And Matt Garrett, good friend of mine, music teacher, and he's picked up all these parts and he's taken them on board and he's bringing his own side to it. Getting to experience this song live with the group on stage is something very, very special to me, because it's like been a long journey to get to this. But yeah, I thought I would share this with you and show you, and just quickly for all the production nerds out there, I'll just show you a couple of things I use. So Steven Slate drums, absolutely love this thing, one of the best, if not the best for me anyway. My sample library is just their standard one, but it's just got a nice room sound to it. I like having drums try to sound as authentic as possible, even though there's no drummer playing. There is a drummer playing, and some of the times here I'm using the groove library to find grooves, but I think in this particular song I wrote all of the drum patterns out myself, except for some of the fills I found, and I brought them in. All of my guitars I'm using a Helix, so I have the Helix now. It's so awesome to be able to drop and drag, even have bass Helix. The CLA plugins are fantastic for making things sound bigger, opening up things, like especially on some of these melodic guitars, the Jangle Get, for example. Here we have the CLA guitar on top of my Helix. It's it's not doing too much. It's just adding some stereo-ness to it. For some reason, it just really brings things to life for me. My chain at the end, I mix and master everything. I don't go off site for this. One of my favorite plugins is Mixdown from Crystal Lord Algae. This is stock standard. I'm not even changing anything here, but it just adds something to it harmonically. I love going into this plugin here, which I think I got with the Focusrite for free. The Drama S73. Again, I typically use either the Clarity 1 or 2, turn this on, leave it as it is. Sometimes I have to just adjust the mix. And then I go into this Abbey Road vinyl to add, I turn off all the noise and crackle and clicks, etc. I'm just adding some harmonics to it that sound fantastic. And then lastly I go into Ozone. And that's my mastering plugin. And in fact, 9 times out of 10 I'm just using the mastering assistant. My biggest asset as a producer and as a songwriter are my ears. If it sounds good to me, and I feel something when I'm listening to it or when I'm recording it, to me, I'm happy with that. And I don't really need to have a master degree in learning how to, mix or master or whatever. I did study at SAE. I've done, papers at university on it. But at the end of the day, what it really comes down to for me anyway is just, does it make me feel something, and does it sound good in my ears? And you got to do the car test. You have to do the car test. So there you go. That's When We're Gone. I hope next time you listen to it, you'll hear it differently. You can pick up things that you haven't picked up before, but it's absolutely one of my favorite songs. It's one of our favorite songs to play live. It's just got something special. So thank you, and if you would like to see more of these, please let me know in the comments below. And I don't mind sharing anything you want to ask me about. I'm more than happy to show you my process if it's going to help you become better at your craft. Thanks a lot, and thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.